Hello, I'm Dr. Elliott Mallory-Greene, and I'm here today to give you a little preview of how New Testament Greek works. If you're a student of the Bible, it's always helpful to peer into the original languages of the Bible, which is Greek for the New Testament. The Old Testament's largely Hebrew, with some Aramaic in some strategic places. And also there is a Greek translation of the Old Testament that comes from about the 2nd century BC, or 3rd century BC, I should say, that is known as the LXX or the Septuagint or Septuagint. So I'm going to get started today here, showing you a little bit how the Greek language works. That's our first goal. And our second goal is to teach you the alphabets, vowels, and diphthongs. So if you know the alphabets and vowels, the Greek alphabets and vowels, you have a wonderful opportunity to begin using Greek language tools and biblical theological tools that might be in transliterated Greek, that is, the Greek language but done in English characters, or using the actual Greek lettering itself. So this opens up the use to several tools that will be helpful in your study of God's Word and giving you a deeper look at what the text might be saying. All right, so let's take a look here first. I want to show you how Greek works as a language. And I'll start with a simple sentence that we're all somewhat familiar with. So make sure my pen's working here. All right. And this is, okay, God loved the world. Okay. Now in English, we use something called a sequential syntax, and that is word order makes a difference. Because if I took the words world and God and changed places so that it said the world loved God, which would be a theological untruth among many other things, it gives us a different idea from God loved the world. So English operates from subject, verb, object, word order, or precedence, and pretty much we stick to that unless we're waxing poetic for some reason. Well, Greek, on the other hand, doesn't use what we call a sequential syntax. Let's put this here. Okay, and sequential syntax is that the sequencing of the words matter in determining what the sentence means. Greek, on the other hand, uses what's known as a morphological syntax. Morphological syntax. Okay. And what this means is form indicates function. Okay. So what do we mean by this? Well, first of all, let's take a look at the word for God. Now, I'm not going to be as precise as the New Testament here, but I'll add some things on a little bit later. But for right now, this is simply, to illustrate the point of how morphological syntax works. So the Greek word for God is theos. Okay? And the Greek word for world is cosmos. Now, the two forms that you see here are called the subject form. And we'll get fancy with these labels a little bit later. But if I just look at the OS there at the end, what that tells me is when this word appears, I'm going to use a little Reed Kellogg diagramming system here. You might have nightmares from this from junior high and high school. But this is a way that we diagram sentences to show how words relate to one another. Well, if theos, or God, is the subject of the sentence, the form that ends in os is informing me that it's going to go here to function as the subject. Now, make sure we get this here, slide it down just a wee bit. Yeah. However, if God is going to be the object of the sentence, the spelling of the word changes just a wee bit to theon, and likewise cosmon. Okay? So this is our word for world, and this is our word for God. Okay? Now, I'm going to change the coloring of these. These two are going to be green. This is where the sentence starts and gets going. Let's make that a little bit stronger. And the direct object form, we're going to put this in red. So if I wanted to say, God loved the world in Greek, I would start with theos, then agapesin, and then cosmon. Oops, I'm in Greek there for you. If we get a little cross over here, I need to let me give that straight. Not quite ready to write in Greek. We will though. Okay, there we go. All right. So I have the words for God, theos, here, and the word for world, cosmon, which is from cosmos. This is the dictionary form or the subject form of the word. But when the word is going to serve as the direct object, as in here, subject, verb, object, God loved the world, then cosmos will appear as cosmon, and not as cosmos. Okay? So in this form, cosmon is the direct object. So I'm going to paint that red for you. That's the direct object. And we're going to come over and take theos, which is the word for God, and I'm going to paint this green. Okay? So God's where the sentence starts, and the world is where the sentence stops. Now, given that we have theos here, okay, serving as the subject, and the spelling tells me that, and then cosmos is cosmon here because it's the direct object. This means that anywhere I move theos and cosmon in this sentence, in English, it would still translate God loved the world. And that's because it's the form of the word. Okay. Let me duplicate this. If I pick this up now, if I take the word theos and move it all the way to the end, it's still the subject. Okay. Now in English, this is kind of different for us. This is my subject. Here's my verb. Here's my direct object. There's my object. So in an English sentence, theos, it's still going to go here. Change my colors there. It's still the subject, no matter where I move it in the sentence. So what this allows Greeks some flexibility to move words around to the front or to the back for emphasis, whereas in English we don't have that capability all that much. Again, if we wax poetically, but that's not the normal way that we speak. But this is the core of how the Greek language works. Not every sentence will have a direct object or a subject, even an explicit subject for that matter. But Greek has other ways of accomplishing that again, we don't have in English. So all this is to say is that Greek is not hard. It just takes a little getting used to on the front. And if you understand how the forms work, then that's half the battle there. That's half the battle. So if I wanted to say, let's bring in a new sentence here. Okay? And we're going to use the word angel, okay, which in Greek is angelos. Okay, you see that form right there, it's telling me this is the subject form. the direct object form would be angelon. Angelon. Okay, angelos and angelon. So that's my subject form. That's my direct object form. Okay. Do this. Okay. If indeed I had a sentence with angelos, angel is the subject, the first form would be used, and if angel is the second form, is the direct object, it would sound angelon. Okay, angelon. So if we add here another word, subject form, doulos, this is the word for servant or slave, and then object here would be the word doulan, okay? All right. So if I wanted to say the angel saw the servant, okay, this would read angelos, or an angel, I should say. An angel saw, and the word for saw is Eden. Okay? An angel saw a servant, and we would have here doulan. Okay? So if I color code these, here is my direct object, here is my subject. So this sentence translates in Greek, from Greek into English, I should say. An angel, I have to supply this, saw a servant. All right, so this is my English translation, and I still have subject, verb, and object here. But as far as my Greek sentence is concerned, I can move these words around, that is, angel and servant, as long as I do not change the spelling. Okay? So I could take doulan here, move it in front, and if I say this in English, it would be something like a servant an angel saw. Okay? A servant an angel saw. But a very good colloquial English translation would still be an angel saw a servant. So I can move these around, I can even move the verb around. None of this changes the meaning of the sentence until I change the spelling, okay, on the words angel and servant. Okay. So in Greek, I've got three options here. Sentence 1, sentence 2, or sentence 3. But all of these will still give me this English translation, which if we went to diagram this again, subject, verb, object, using our grammatical diagramming scheme, we would have angelos, and that is an angel. Greek doesn't have a word for a or an, that's why I'm having to add this here. And then our verb would be aidin. Get my mouth together here. There we go, aidin, which would be the past tense of see, saw. And then servant would be doulos. In the accusative or direct object form doulan, and that would be servant. Right, there we have it. This is how Greek works in a very basic sense. It's not that difficult, and so what you've actually learned how to do is to translate a basic Greek sentence without even knowing the alphabet yet. How about that? Thank you. Hope you'll enjoy this.